welcome back to the Global Gaming Women's Fair Game podcast. I am here at the beautiful Light and Wonder podcast studio, joined by my radiant co-hosts, Bronwen Gregg and Anika Howard. How are you, ladies?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you. It's
Good to
be
see
back.
you. I love when you're here in person. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too. I've missed you.
Welcome to Vegas.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back.
Yes.
So I'm pretty excited today. We're going to talk about company culture. Okay, so I think company culture is super important. Lots of themes of hands-on workplaces and things that feel like home and puppies running around the office. So we'll get there. Don't worry. You'll understand what I'm talking about soon. But I love to get your perspective before we bring in a guest. So let's talk a little bit about it. Let's dive right in. Like what does company culture mean to you? Why is it important? And what's the best you've experienced? Anika, do you want to go?
I mean, I can start. Yes. I think company culture means just creating a space where you feel like you belong and you feel connected and empowered and really fired up about the mission, about what you're trying to accomplish, and just excited for your team and feeling the sense of I guess family, that you want to be part of it and you want to see everyone win. And for me, I think that's how I got hooked on gaming. When I first started, I joined as a president's associate in Harrah's, New Orleans. So Harrah's, New Orleans was being built. It's now Caesars, New Orleans. And it was part of a grand opening team. And if you've been in casino and you've ever been part of an opening, it is this incredible, all-encompassing experience. And so where you're connected with the community, you're connected with kind of the core executives, you become just this super tight-knit group, and then you're building something from scratch. So I came in when it was still hard hats, and they were building the casino, and being able to be part of that process, being able to be part of working with legends like Karen Sock and Fred Keaton and just, and Jay Sevigny, for that big opening team. I think, that's how I initially met Lauren Gill. And so it was just amazing team of people that were so charismatic, so passionate, and seeing us kind of go from basically the frame of the casino to having pep rallies with, thousands of team members ready to open the doors for New Orleans. And so for me, just kind of that set, it's camaraderie, and that part of it was really, really exciting to me. And that was really my introduction to gaming. And I was like, I love this.
I'm in, I'm hooked.
And it's been something nothing has really quite, lived up to that experience, because that's such a unique, experience to open a property. But I've, continued to be able to carry on a lot of the principles that I learned there, even to today.
I love that.
Yeah. And you're right. This industry, like, obviously I had an episode right about the culture of the industry last season with Steve Schneider, and we really peeled back the layers, but it's amazing, right? The camaraderie within our industry. And I think a lot of it comes from this golden age that we're experiencing, right? Of course, with PASPA having been overturned, also of course, the influx of sports into Vegas, right? Sports betting, all of that, the legalization, it's this golden age, right?
Yeah.
And being a part of innovation and playing such a key role and knowing, right, every effort that you make results in something that could be, a catalyst, right, for how things end up operating for, years and decades, and, really setting the foundation of the industry. Like, that's so fulfilling.
Yeah. No, and even I'm thinking about it, I just, I was thinking Jeff Hook, who's at Hard Rock, and even Julia Carcamo. I'm just thinking about all of these people that were part of that very initial experience that I have, that are still very, very instrumental and core in my life today. And because I think when you have that camaraderie, it creates that sense of connection, that
shared purpose.
Yeah, shared purpose that carries on even after people leave and go to other places.
Do you get the vibe that like gaming is a life thing? Like once you're in, and like you're not getting out. Like I get that vibe, because like all the people that you're saying have been around forever.
And it feels like I've tried, because I've kind of went out and then I got pulled back in. And I was
you're
like,
not,
okay,
you're not
I'm
escaping.
kind of, yeah, exactly. I think it's like, you're in it
once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, my role now, right, like I used to only focus on the gaming industry, and now, right, I'm focusing on the gaming industry and other industries for my company. But gaming's still my core, my North Star, right?
Yes.
Like that's always going to be, even though it may not be the biggest portfolio yet for Insight Global, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be my priority, right? Because of how passionate I am about what we're creating and the community that, you know, we're a part of, and the runway, right, of impact that there still is to make. It's so exciting. But
Talk to us, Bronwen. I think I know your answer here about your favorite company culture, but I want to hear it, and the listeners need to hear it.
Yes, I know. Honestly, those who have listened to a few episodes on our pod have probably heard me talk about this a lot, but I mean, I will always talk about it. It's always worth repeating. I mean, Insight Global has the best freaking company culture. I am so proud to work there. I am just endlessly impressed and inspired by everyone around me and the impact that we're able to make, not just internally amongst ourselves, but also on our customers and our consultants, therefore all of these industries and really society at whole. Like this is so crazy. We're building agentic AI for the biggest tech company in the world. Well, one of them, I can't say who it is, but right, like that's just so cool. And that pride that comes in what we're able to offer, but that pride really stems from the internal culture, right? And Insight Global, we are very, very intentional. We had our own culture transformation almost a decade ago, where we were in a place our people were firing us, right? And we hire a lot of entry level and promote from within. Not all of our roles, but right, recruiting and sales, right, which is, you know, where I started with the company 10 years ago. And so with that promotion from within, you're hiring people at that, you know, entry level. For a typical entry level role, I forget off the top of my head, I think it's like a 50% attrition rate. We were like in the 70s or 80s, like it was bad. You know, our people were firing us. So Bert being our CEO took, you know, the leadership team out to Utah, broke it down and was like, all right, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Let's fix this. And out of that first, what we now call Compass, our culture retreats, out of that first Compass came our shared values, right? Everyone matters. We take care of each other. Leadership is here to serve. Always know where you stand. And then my favorite one, which I've talked a lot about on the pod before, is high character and hard work above all else. Right. And what came from that is this shared language, this shared purpose, and this right North Star that we all know the people around us are so passionate about. And a lot of companies have their corporate values, but right, like what's so powerful about ours is that they have informed the habits, right, of our people, and they have informed the trust and, you know, the loyalty that we have amongst each other. And that shows up for our consultants and, you know, our customers. And now we literally, it was so successful for us. After about 5 years of all of these injections in culture, diversity council, women's leadership council, merit-based Fridays off, even right, like LTIPs for everybody on their first day, like the list goes on, right? Insight Global Family Foundation. There's a lot, but what happened is our attrition did reduce, right? We're like less than 15%. I think we're less than 10% right now. But what was amazing is that over that period of time, we more than doubled in revenue.
I mean, absolutely.
No M&A activity, you know, no new crazy expansion, like culture.
Yes,
literally doubled in revenue.
Because when people are happy, they perform. When people are happy, perform. And you said two things that were very important, like high character, and then also leaders are to serve. And really, really love this concept of servant leadership, because you come in and people see these positions and they think, oh, I have this power, but you have the power to make the difference for the people that you support. So I think that's really a big piece of it, that you are here to serve as a leader, to make sure that your team eats, to make sure that they are cared for and they have the need, what they need. So.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think the common thing I'm hearing is that it's about the people, right?
Yes,
so I think,
absolutely.
I think good company culture comes down to the people. If you feel good, you're gonna be good, right? Like I think a good company culture, to me, you are surrounded by people that can be vulnerable, can be in a place where they can admit if they need help, or if they're uncomfortable doing something, or if, you know, maybe they just don't even know something. And I worked for a team that made me feel good like that quite some years ago. But we all worked hard and we played hard and we actually liked hanging out with each other. If it was after a trade show, like we actually enjoyed each other's company, and we actually went to dinner and didn't have like I'm just so tired, I want to go back to my room thing.
Yes.
No, it was fun, right? Like you just felt comfortable being around these people, and I think it was because we would come to work and that title didn't matter. Like that was erased. Like it didn't matter. We were all one team. We all wanted to help each other, and we all wanted to see each other succeed. And I think once we get past, oh, you're a VP of this and oh, you're a director of this, like we just came together and worked hard for each other.
I love your point about the vulnerability. So Dan Coyle wrote The Culture Code, an amazing book, right? Highly recommend. And he talks about what he calls the vulnerability loop. And what this is, right, it's this loop that he has noticed that, right, when you open up first and you are vulnerable, that then creates that safe space for the other person to then reciprocate. And then you get into this vulnerability loop. That builds trust, that leads to innovation, and that results in business success. He actually came and spoke at one of Insight Global's leadership conferences a few years ago, and he had us do this exercise. And this was this big auditorium, right, like thousands of people. And he was like, all right, this half of the room, you guys are going to pair up, and I'm going to give you certain questions. Other half of the room, you're going to do the same, but you're going to have different questions, right? So on one side of the room, it was questions like, all right, like tell us about like your routines with your pet or like whatever. I don't remember all of them, but they were light, right? The other group, deep questions. It was like, what's a goal of yours? Like, what's a dream of yours? And why haven't you taken the initiative to make it happen yet? Right? Like deep stuff like that. And he recorded us, and it was so interesting because at the beginning of the 5 minutes or whatever, you could tell that the side talking about their pets and stuff, they were, loud. And then the side talking about their deepest, darkest, whatever, they got quiet. But then at the end, that group was the highest, right, decibel in the room, and the other group just kind of stayed the same. And he was like, all right, do you feel more connected now, with the person that you interacted with? And so it's that safe space to be vulnerable. That's what really, right, brings it out. And then also, I would say on the vulnerability piece, another thing that I love about Insight Global is we have what we call the confrontation model. So if somebody does something that rubs you the wrong way, or, it could be the littlest thing, you are required to pull that person aside within 24 hours, let them know, right? Like, hey, that wasn't cool, or like, hey, that came off the wrong way, whatever the case may be. And then that individual needs to have 24 hours before they respond. And this creates this, high level of accountability, going back to high character and hard work. Like, we're going to work with good people. Nobody is going to come in here acting like they're better than anybody else, or right, creating tension and chaos and drama. We are the same team, right? We want to steer this ship in a direction, and then you have to confront that person within 24 hours so it doesn't fester, that resentment doesn't build.
Yeah, that's good. I like the accountability piece like that. That's a very unique thing that I think a lot of companies could learn from, is that the 24 hours to respond, make sure that you're holding people accountable that you work with. I like that.
Yeah. And it informs so much. Even our AI principles now are literally being built around our shared values. Yep. So it's core for everything.
That's great. Sounds like we all experience some good company culture, and we're about to hear today from another lady that creates an incredible company culture. Her name is Donna Raucher. She's the CEO of GPS, which is Global Promotion Sourcing. It's a Las Vegas-based specialized company, specialized in loyalty solutions and promotion merchandising. So, when you drive by a casino and you see gift of the day, her company is responsible for that, which is pretty cool. She's been involved with GPS since 2001, actually, but stepped into the CEO role in 2016. So under her leadership, she's grown the company leaps and bounds, and you're going to hear about that today. But she's super passionate about volunteering, which I love. Yeah. She was recently named the Best Cone Humanitarian of the Year Award in 2023.
Major.
And she's had a little life change. She came from the advertising world. She was a teacher, and then now she's the CEO of this company. So one of my favorite things about Donna, I've known her and her family. She's very family oriented. Her whole family works with her in this business. I've known them for 20 plus years, and they've always been a family that you can rely on.
Nice.
So I can't wait for her to tell everybody about the puppy culture she has at her office, and just the brilliant way that she leads with empathy.
Love that.
No, all right. That's very important. So I'm looking forward to hearing all from her It's exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about the puppies.
Yeah, let's do
Yes.
it.
One last thing I'll add, actually, just maybe think about it, the AI principles being aligned to shared values. I went to a conference earlier this year called HumanX. It was the inaugural year. It was an AI conference. And it was interesting because it was full of tech leaders, right? CIO and, executive technology, leaders. And I was expecting everybody to want to talk about, right, like AI transformation, implementation, best practices, all that. Every single tech leader wanted to talk about culture. Right,
Yes.
they wanted to talk about culture because people recognize, right, leaders recognize you have to have a culture for, right, like successful change management to actually drive AI adoption if you want to do it successfully, right? And everything starts with culture in that sense of innovation. So I think that's just an important thing to call out, that as we look at this crazy tech landscape that we don't even know what it's going to look like a year from now, right? In order to be successful, it starts with culture.
No, and culture is centered around people. And so I think we always think about all the assets that a company has, but the biggest and most important asset is its people. So I can't wait. And apparently maybe it's puppies.
And puppies.
And puppies.
Yes.
And
So
puppies.
looking
All right.
forward to hearing
Let's
about
hear
that.
let's hear from Donna. Donna's the leader that puts people first. Can't wait.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Hi, Donna. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, Lauren, thanks for having me.
So I just want to jump right in. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Give us some background and some fun facts about you.
It's a boring story.
Not true. That's
I spent
never true.
I spent 12 years in advertising. Decided that I still wanted to be a teacher, which was originally my dream. Spent 7 years in school, 15 years teaching, anything from kindergarten up through high school. And then I kind of got a little disillusioned with what I was doing at the time. I was an English teacher for 5 years, but it became about test scores and not about kids. So I left. I told Steve I'd help him for a year because he needed some help, and that was in 2016, and here I am.
And here you are.
And here I am.
So we were just talking before we went on air about middle school. You taught middle school. I have a middle schooler. So we were talking about how crazy it is to see like the change in these kids and stuff. So you experienced all of that. I mean, you taught a variety of ages. You've seen it all.
Well, what was ironic about my situation, because I worked in a private school, I had some kids in second grade that I looped with back in middle school again, who I'm still, connected with on Instagram, who are now in their 20s, graduating law school, going get their master's degrees. So yeah, I have seen it all.
I think it's so cool that you stay connected to them. I think I've seen that on your social media, that you still are very close to a lot of your students, and I admire that a lot.
There was a couple classes that I was especially close to. So those are the kids that I literally see every Christmas or every Thanksgiving. So yeah, it's really cool.
That's
actually,
awesome. I love that. So talk to me a little bit about your business. What does GPS do?
What GPS does is we provide the gifts that casinos give to their customers. We do loyalty and VIP programs. We do continuity programs. If you've seen billboards with, this is the gift of the week advertised, that's what we provide to the casinos. M is one of our biggest customers. We also do some work with stations in some of the local casinos. However, most of our work comes from the tribal casinos outside of Las Vegas. We've really kind of developed a niche with them, with their particular cultures.
Yeah. So I have personally known you and your family for quite some time. We're not going to say how long because hard to handle. But it's been a while. It's been a minute. And I have really great memories of early days in my career and how wonderful you and your family were, just trying to help me build not only my career, but in my personal life too. And you guys just have such a family oriented drive to you all. And it's just such a cool thing to experience and see you guys still have the growth you have today. And I love the culture that you cultivate. So talk to me a little about why that's so important to you.
Culture is a huge part of who we are. If you've seen our LinkedIn post, we've leaned in hard to the dog aspect of it.
One of my favorite parts, by the way.
Well, we became dog friendly when I got my dog Delilah. So that was in 2016. So we've really, really leaned into hard to it. And it's really resonated with a lot of people that really like the idea that there's, dogs running around. And we do monthly lunches to recognize anniversaries and birthdays. We, we really celebrate our people and really focus on our people. And because of that, I think we have one employee that's been with us almost since day one. Pat's been with us since our second week in existence. Lori's been with us for 22 years, and then it kind of rolls down from there. And then in 2020, we started a really big hiring push because we started to grow really exponentially at that point. And we went from 9 people in 2020 to now 30 that we have now.
So what you just said in 2020. So in like the height of COVID, when everything's starting to shut down, you were hiring and you were experiencing all of your growth.
Yes, we were hiring and also going down with COVID, unfortunately. We had an office-wide breakout in December. And I was, for whatever reason, I think it was because my leftover teacher immunity, I just didn't get it at that point. I didn't get it for another 2 years.
One outstanding one that didn't get it.
But I literally, when I say I wanted to take care of my team, I literally went and visited every single one of our team members to make sure that they were okay, that I brought them lunch and that they didn't need anything outside of what their families could provide. So our people are our business. If it's not for them, we don't have a business.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think people, if you don't take care of your people, then you don't have a business.
It seems to be working. Like I said, we have a lot of very, very long employees and young long-term employees. Nicole, one of our lead salespeople, has been with us 7 years and she's only 31. That's unheard of. To have, be at a job for 7 years when you're in your 20s and early 30s.
I love how much you care about your people.
I do.
I mean, we've only been talking for a couple of minutes and you've shouted out like 6 of them. And I think that that's incredible. I love a leader that cares about their people.
They are the reason we are here and we are still thriving and growing at the rate that we are, is because, and I say this to everybody, we have the best team in the business in our sector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
I do.
So you're a female and you're a leader. And I think that, as female leaders, we face like weird, unique challenges all the time. So 100%. Talk to me about like some of the unique things that you faced as a leader in your space, and how do you approach those things every day?
Let's go back to my first job out of college with an advertising agency, where I was basically hired as I was trying to break into advertising and marketing. I was hired basically as a glorified secretary. 1988, right? I wouldn't have done that again if it was me now. With a guy who used to refer to me at times as honey crumb bun,
Yeah, totally inappropriate.
Totally inappropriate.
Way 1988, I get it.
1988, we're going even past like Don Draper and Mad Men. I mean, this is back in 60s, 70s behavior.
Wait, were they smoking in the office? Because that's so Mad Men.
No.
Okay. All right. We didn't get those vibes. Okay.
I think it was only because
we're setting the scene.
I think it's because the owner of the ad agency probably didn't smoke and it wasn't cool. But there was certainly an area for smoking right outside the main entrance.
Amazing.
So yeah. So early in my career, I did run into a lot of that. And A, I was young. B, I didn't know what I didn't know about how to stand up for myself the way I certainly do now. But I have run into it less and less, thankfully, as time, moves on. Obviously, I don't get it at my company because A, I own the company, and B, I go home with my partner. So I'm not going to get any sexism from him.
Yeah, definitely not.
If he's going to tell about it. No. I work with my son, who's very, hands-on dad, wonderful husband, also a great employee, takes really good care of his people as well. And because that's the dictate, right? We take care of our people and point.
Yeah. Always say it starts from the top and trickles down, right? Like
100%.
if you show that behavior, everyone underneath you is going to show that behavior too. And that's what sets the company culture up for success.
But I know a lot of people do experience that. Last year at G2E, there was a session with Matt Wilson and 2 other casino operators. And I apologize, I don't remember their name, but Matt really hit it home for me. And they talked about allyship and how important having male allies in your life is and in your career are. So it's not just about women standing up for themselves and defending themselves against misogynistic behavior. It's the men also saying, this is not cool. This should not be happening. And this will not happen in my business.
Yeah. We did a great episode a while back on male allyship, and we all had our male ally on. And I think that kind of thing, even to promote it, like as a female, promoting my male ally so that people see how important that support is, I think is really important. So the fact that you remember and something that happened a year ago at a G2E, session really sticks with you. I think that's super important to remember. Like we have to keep preaching that message, because the more people hear it, the more they start to learn and understand why it's so important to have those allies and keep talking about it.
Well, the reason that session was so impactful to me is, here we are in this room, at the Sands with probably 700 seats. There was less than 100 people there.
Yeah.
I don't post on LinkedIn. I comment on things. I share things, I actually said how disappointed I was in the gaming population, that was such a poorly attended session when it was such an important topic. As women recently have become more and more visible in the casino world. I mean, you're certainly one of them. You've made your mark over gaming in the last 20 years. You've got Cynthia Kaiser Murphy. You've got, the early pioneers like Diana Bennett and Claudine Williams, and the women who have started that wave of moving women up the ladder more. Because let's face it, gaming was a man's world for how many ever years?
Yep.
And it's only been really in the last 15 or 20 years that you've really seen women visible and vocal and making a difference and making those changes that need to be made to make properties, welcoming and inclusive, not just for women and men, but for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something to think about.
Yeah.
So has there ever been a time where you've had to prove your credibility? I mean, I know now you've set the culture and you really drive how things happen within your business, but before that, like, has there ever been a time where you had to prove your credibility to a male counterpart, and how'd you handle that?
Going back to advertising, where, I'd be sitting at the table with the men and the women in the agency, and while the men's ideas were being celebrated, mine and the other women at the table were barely being entertained at all. And it's not until you start standing up and really making a stink about the fact that you're not listening to good ideas. This is a demographic you need to listen to, because women make the buying decisions in the home. And they still do, I think, for the most part. And the fact that they were ignoring the women at the table and only celebrating what the men were saying, even though probably the men took some of those ideas from women in their lives, that was a wake-up call for me.
Yeah, I've seen that many times. I've seen where, it's the female's quiet at the table, has an idea, it kind of trickles out, and the male takes the idea for it. And that's really unfortunate. And I think, once it took me a while, which I think is an unfortunate part, but it took me a while to realize that we need to celebrate each other. And the more we celebrate each other and we stand up for each other, especially when that female's not in the room.
Yeah.
That's when it's most important.
That
right?
is when it's most important, is having someone backing you up even when you're not there to speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so I think I actually already know your answer to this next question, but I'm still going to ask it anyway because I want everybody else to hear it. Do you think there are moments where you felt like being a woman was an advantage to you in your leadership?
100%. Women lead differently than men. And I'll probably get grief for saying that because it sounds sexist or whatever. We just lead from a different place. I think still, for the most part, women lead from more empathy and more understanding of the fact that people are not just employee number 101. It's, this is Lori. She's going through this at the time. How do I support her? So not only is she supported at work, but she also feels support in other areas of her life too. Do you need more time to take care of, your mom who's been ill? Or do you need time to take care of your brand new granddaughter that just came? We can make allotments for that. And I think it's important for women to do that, because I'm not sure not all men, especially men of a certain age, dare I say, are still aware that those things can be important to your employees. It's not just about the job they do, it's who they are as people. And you have to support the whole person, not just the person whose job happens to be in front of you.
Yeah, if they feel good,
yeah,
they're going to show up at their best.
Yeah.
And that's when they do their best work.
Right.
You showing them that it's okay to be who they are, even in a vulnerable moment, if they're going through something behind the scenes that maybe they wouldn't have thought to share or they wouldn't feel comfortable to share.
Yeah.
Showing them that that's okay, I think it's a totally different way to lead. And I like I said, I think, when they feel good, they show up at their best, and that's when the best work happens. That's when the magic happens.
Yeah. I don't follow a particular management philosophy. I've always believed in leading by example. So if you see how I show up at work, if you see how I treat the people in my office, I expect you to treat them the same. And to follow that lead on how to approach a problem or how to approach if an employee is having a challenge, can't do something or is having trouble something, you don't just go at them full force. You say, okay, what's the problem? What do you need support with? How can we help you? It's not that full force that occasionally has happened in male-dominated industries where they just put someone on blast. Instead of saying, why is there a problem here? Let's figure out why there's a problem. Let's figure out how to fix the problem, and then we'll figure out how to solve the problem and make sure it doesn't happen again, which is the most important part, is how not to have it happen again.
Yeah, no repeats.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the term a management style, because I find that you have to be different with every person.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a different style because every person is unique and different in their own way.
100%.
And I think a good leader can identify that and recognize that, person A needs something completely different than person B. So my style has to be different for each of them.
Yeah.
So I think adjusting and learning along the way how to approach different styles, I think is a better way to say that. Like, I don't think there's a one size fits all management style.
Depends on what book you read, right?
Right. Maybe we should just write our own.
I think maybe we should.
Okay,
Listen,
we'll talk after this.
My job as CEO, amongst my other duties, I am in charge of compliance, among other things, is to make sure my team is taken care of, has what they need, and has the support that they need to have to do what they need to do. And if that means making some, other adjustments, or we get different equipment, or we get some different software, whatever we need to do to make their work lives better so they can do a better job, is on me to make sure that they have what they need, and to support their managers to make sure that it all trickles down.
So I know not one day all looks the same for you. And your business is very family oriented. You've mentioned you worked with your son, you work with your husband. Yeah. Talk to me a little about what a day looks like to you. Like, you go to work with your husband, you come home with your husband. How do you guys balance that?
Some days better than others.
Okay, great. I mean, let's be real. That's what we're supposed to do here.
Some days better than others. I joke that, are we going to have anything to talk about when we retire? Because, I'm 60 now, so it's getting there, right? I'm a lot closer to retirement than not retirement. I'm like, we have to start talking about other things besides work, which, let's face it, we've been doing for 9 years, almost 10 years now. So the balance for me, listen, I'm not going home to kids' homework and dance class and basketball practice anymore. I'm going home to 3 dogs, which is awesome. So my balance looks different now than it certainly did in the beginning of my career when I had young kids. So I can do volunteer work every other Friday, which I do. I started working with a dog rescue, which is kind of like giving an alcoholic, keys to the liquor cabinet, but I adopted another dog in January.
That's that puppy philosophy. You got puppies everywhere.
I got puppies everywhere. Yeah, I think there's 10 or 12 now. We're doing another calendar. We did a calendar last year with all our dogs and cats. I think we're doing another one this year. So, balancing it all, Steve needs motion to relax. I need stillness to relax. So I do yoga. I read a lot. Frankly, I'm sitting on the couch with the dogs and playing with them and just reading my book or doom scrolling on my phone, whatever. He needs to be moving. So he's riding his bike. He's doing, torturesome hot yoga, which God bless anybody who does that. I hate it.
He still does that?
He still does that.
I remember this from like 20 years ago.
Do you still ride your Peloton?
I do. Yeah.
See, bike riders are a whole different breed. You never actually stop doing it in any form. So we all have our ways when we get home of kind of cooling down from the day, right? I play with the dogs. We go in the pool. I'll sit and watch a show on TV for an hour with all 3 dogs on the couch next to me, and Steve, on a chair away because, he doesn't want to sit with all the dogs like I do. So we find our own ways to balance working with family. Obviously, Zach is our chief commercial officer. My son, my daughter-in-law is VP of operations. Steve's the founder. I'm the CEO. Tara doesn't work for the company, but she works for AGS. She sells slot machines for AGS. So she's also in town. So there's a lot of family time going on. I have a grandson now who's going to be 2. So it's hanging out in the pool with him, or doing whatever he happens to be into. He's into Lion King right now. So we watch a lot of Lion King and we play with a lot of Lion toys. So yeah, that was our vacation, was how many times can we watch Lion King in one day?
It's one of the best soundtracks that ever was.
I agree.
Still to this day.
I agree. If I have to watch a movie, I'd rather watch Lion King than some of the others. So he and I are able to find our own way because we don't have anybody else to kind of balance within that equation like you do.
Yeah.
How much dance practice do you actually go to every week?
I'm afraid to admit this out loud. Probably like, I mean, we're rounding 10, 12 hours a week.
When Tara was doing gymnastics, it was 24 hours a week.
It's just
It was
crazy.
6 days a week, 4 hours a day.
They're babies.
I know.
Let's play.
I know. Well, she stopped when she was 12 and then went to cheer, which also was another
Yeah.
huge commitment, but it wasn't 24 hours. So my life balance looks very different now than it did earlier in my career, and I'm very, very happy for that. So we find our own way. You know, we are very much a team, but we also have our own spaces to disappear to when we need to.
That's good. You need that.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
So, I mean, it sounds to me like having family close to you means everything.
It means everything. The fact that they both moved home after going to UNR was everything to me.
Same path. I did the same thing.
Zach stayed for 5 years. Tara came right home.
I loved it there, but I love home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what support systems outside of family, personal or professional, do you have, and what did they mean to you?
Well, my mom lives here. Steve's mom lives here. His stepmom lives here. His dad unfortunately passed away a couple years ago. Lots of friends, big community network. I mean, my daughter-in-law was just saying, you guys know everybody. How is that? I said, well, we've lived here 35 years, but we cultivate those friendships and we cultivate those relationships. We have some very close friends that we travel with. I have my lean in circle through GGW that I lean on really heavily, certainly when there's a problem in the business, because most of us are C-suites and most of them have been in HR function at some point in their career, if not currently. So I'm like, I'm having this problem. I really need your help. You know, can you all weigh on what I should do on this or how I should handle this? Or so I lean heavily on my friend network and my family and extended family.
So I didn't even ask you to plug your Lean In Circle. So thanks for doing that.
My pleasure.
Lean In Circles have a special place in my heart. And I've been a part of the organization for a while now. And that was how I got started too in GGW. And I think Lean In has just a special way of making you feel like you have your own community.
100%.
And it's on purpose, right? Like behind the scenes, what you don't see is the algorithm that places you with people that are like you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's done with much intention to make sure that you can help build that community. So it sounds like you have. And I think it's really important to keep telling people how great that can be, because, sometimes people are a little shy and a little hesitant to jump into something like a Lean In Circle thinking that it's a big commitment. And I don't know if I can give that much time or dedication to something, but you've cultivated that relationship. GGW started that foundation for you, but it sounds like that circle means a lot to you. And talk to me a little bit more about that. Like, what do you guys do together? It sounds like you have a phone a friend. My circle did.
We have a group chat. We have a group chat. Help! I need help with this.
But like, what do you guys do together? What does your circle look like today from when it started?
Oh, I think it's important to note that we started in April of 2020.
Oh, okay.
So we were
emotional time.
Emotional time. We were all entirely remote. We didn't actually meet in person, I think, until, I don't know, September, October of that year, because there were people that, just weren't comfortable, or they were, trying to survive during that time period with the casinos and all the drama with that going on with the pandemic. So we started at a very stressful time. We were all in very similar level positions. So we were all in leadership roles trying to figure this out. I have never watched so many webinars and press conferences in my whole life as I did during those first few weeks of the pandemic in March when everything shut down. I'm like, okay, everything shut down. All right, everybody grab your stuff. You're going to work from home. You're going to start working on, finishing out any orders that we had. You're going to work on your database. You're going to clean that up. You're going to do anything you can in the next 6 or 8 weeks, however long we were closed. We didn't know. It ended up being 8 weeks because we started selling PPE to some of our casino customers. And we just figured it out. We had weekly Zoom calls. I would send everybody, Uber food gift cards, and they would buy lunch, and we would have lunch together on Zoom. And I would send stupid pandemic jokes whenever I could and memes.
Yeah, that was like the only way to survive it.
It's the only way to survive.
Yeah,
it was the only way to survive, and it was a tough period, but it also pulled us together in an incredible way. And there was only 9 of us at the time.
That's amazing.
I know.
And that you still are established today is even more incredible. I love that.
Yeah.
That's like, I think that might be one of the longer lean in circles lengthwise, like time wise.
And it's
That's incredible.
I mean, Kelly Tuckey is our Lean in Circle moderator. And she tried very hard to make it very structured in the very beginning because that's what she was supposed to do.
I know Kelly, and I can just imagine Kelly making sure everybody's in line. I love it. I love it.
She was trying very hard to find us, speakers and places once everything opened up, places to go. And we kind of came together as a group and said, you know what, we just really like having each other to talk to. So we just kind of gotten away. We do have guest speakers. I don't want to get her in trouble with Lean In. We do have guest speakers, but a lot of the time it's just we go to dinner and we just talk and what's going on in your life. So one of our members went through a divorce and has gone through 2 career changes. Kelly went through a career change. She was independent at the time and now she works for Yamava in California and Palms back and forth. 2 of us are vendors to the gaming industry. And then another one has been in HR and Cosmo and other places. So, and Dorothy, unfortunately, just moved to the East Coast. She's in Rhode Island with IGT now. So she may not actually be participating anymore.
But still have that group message.
Everybody
always stay connected.
Everybody is still connected as much as we can. And even though if she may not be able to be on our meetings because for her it's 10 o'clock at night when we have our 7 o'clock dinner. We're still in touch on the group chat and we still keep tabs on everybody, make sure, how are you settling in? How's the new team? How are you doing in Rhode Island? How's your house being built going? Which, takes so much longer in the East Coast than it does here.
I don't know. I'll challenge that. I'm working on things now and I'm like, ugh. That was unplanned, but incredibly powerful. That's why I love these conversations. And thank you for sharing all of that. So before we go into the fun at the end,
okay,
do you have any advice that you want to give young females entering any kind of male-dominated industry?
Find your people. I think in women, it is important to find a male and female mentor to get both of those perspectives because that's really invaluable. Women and men, again, see problems differently. So having both sides to bounce off of. I've always had a male counterpart I could talk to as long as with the women who are either coworkers or managers in my life. It's important to have both of that perspective. It's so important. And I think your generation is much better at it, is advocating for yourself, advocating for your ideas, advocating for the fact that, no, this new job is not what I really want. It's below what I have skill-wise. I want something more, which my generation didn't do as good a job with. We didn't advocate as well for ourselves. I think we were just happy to have a job. It was the 80s. 80s and early 90s. And it's important to have a close circle of people you can confide in and bounce ideas off of that may or may not be your mentors, but just friends who you can say, let your hair down, have a cup of coffee, have a glass of wine, whatever it happens to be, and say, this is what's going on in my life. Can I just sound some things off of you and bounce some ideas and tell me if I'm crazy or tell me if, I need to do something differently. Just be real.
That circle is super important, right? It could just be to bounce ideas or it could just be to have that vent session. I think, having it is key.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
100%.
Okay. You ready to have a little fun?
Let's go.
Okay. I love rapid fire. This is like my favorite part.
Okay.
We were supposed to only do rapid fire, like occasionally, but now it's become a thing and we do it at the end of every episode. So 9 times out of 10, it's never rapid, but that's okay. It's fun.
Okay.
Okay. What's the first thing you do when you wake up?
Feed my dogs because they don't give me a choice.
Okay. So I'm going to be very vulnerable. I'm very guilty. I grab my phone.
Okay.
Ugh, I wish I could drop this habit. So maybe like in a couple months we'll connect and I'll let you know I dropped the habit. Okay. Heels, flats, or sneakers in the office?
Flats.
Yeah, I'm a flats or sneakers. I mean, you gotta have puppies running around, so you gotta be ready to move.
I had knee surgery in 2021. I gave up heels a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm not a heel fan. Okay,
I'll wear wedges. Wedges is about as far as I'll go now.
Okay, all right. Go to weeknight dinner when time is short.
Pizza.
Ours is Brooklyn's chicken nuggets and mac and cheese. Like it's just like the easiest thing to get going, and that's what she asked for. So.
I always have a couple frozen deep dish pieces in the freezer just in case.
Yeah, you got to be ready at all times. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, one chore you absolutely avoid.
Dusting. Ironing would be second.
I don't mind ironing. It's kind of therapeutic.
I find dusting and ironing, it's a pointless after the first 5 minutes, right? You walk away, you've just dusted a table. 5 minutes later, yeah, there's dust all over it.
Yeah,
Or
here's the thing with
I
dusting.
put on a shirt and it's wrinkled in 5 minutes. So.
You like push dust around. I really feel like that's all you're doing. I don't really feel like you're accomplishing anything. I had a different answer. I'm going with dusting now. I don't believe in it.
But I like folding laundry, which is weird. If I find that
is
weirdly
weird.
satisfying. I know.
I don't want to do that.
I feel like it's I have an accomplishment. I have a bag, a laundry basket that's filled with things that are done.
Okay, well now I'm rethinking it. No, I still don't want to do it. Okay.
It's weirdly satisfying
See,
to me.
this is what I mean. It's never really all rapid.
I know.
Okay, favorite vacation spot with family?
Beach, Encinitas.
Yeah,
We've been going there for 20 years. We just got back 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, beach anytime for me. I'll take it.
Yep.
We have a tradition. We all go together as a family to Brigantine in New Jersey, and it's my favorite vacation of the year.
Yeah,
I love the beach.
We go to Encinitas, and as the business has done better, we've gotten closer and closer to the beach. So now we're on the water.
There it is. That's how you know you've made it. I love that. What was the last show that you binged?
Oh, I don't know if I haven't actually finished it because I've watched it 3 or 4 times. Is West Wing? That's my binge show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a great one. That's going back.
It's
I like
so
that.
Well written. Oh, it's 25th anniversary, so they're pushing it again.
Okay, mine
It's
was
just so
The
well written.
Bear.
Okay.
Love it.
Okay.
It's super intense, very emotional.
We also love Drive to Survive. I don't know.
Oh, I've never heard that.
It's the F1 series behind the scenes of all the Formula One drivers.
Oh, okay.
That's Steve and I watched that one together.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. One word your kids would use to describe you.
Kind. They're both very vocal about the fact that for whatever reason, they believe I was a really good mom. I just had my 60th birthday and they both gave up and gave a little speech and they said the same thing. He says, I love the fact that you're my mom, but now you're the office mom too.
Oh,
so
that's so
I
sweet.
guess mom-like. I don't know if that's an adjective.
Okay. So, because I knew this question was coming, I actually asked Brooklyn to give one word. She said courageous, which I thought was really cool.
I love
too.
that.
It's not something I thought she was going to say. I thought she was going to say funny. So I'm a little disappointed that I'm not funny to her. But 7th grade, I'm not cool at all. So I guess we'll take courageous.
Well, she's 7th grade. If it's not fart humor, it's not funny.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. That's really true. Well, Donna, thank you so much for joining us today. I greatly appreciate the way you lead with passion, and it's admirable to watch, and puppies. So thanks for coming on today.
I love being here. Thanks for inviting me.